$25 million to combat Asian carp, $2.5 million to count the number of amberjack fish in the Gulf of Mexico.
And where it should have stopped is at the deal standpoint when they thought about it.
Early in the morning, they went to the table with the black robe, the black shield, and they pulled out the votes.
In contrast, Russian elections are rigged. Political opponents are imprisoned or otherwise eliminated from participating in the electoral process. The result is an absence of checks and balances in Russia and the decision of one man to launch a wholly unjustified and brutal invasion of of Ukraine.
Ladies and gentlemen, leaders and fighters for freedom and liberty and the American dream, the best is yet to come.
That will enhance our underlying effort to accommodate the Russian oligarchs and make sure we take their ill-begotten gains. We're going to accommodate them. We're going to seize their yachts, their luxury homes, and other ill-begotten gains of Putin's kleptocracy. Kleptocracy and the guys who are the kleptocracy. But these are bad guys.
Dub as a shit fuck, cringe tour, etc., etc.
In case you don't know, and you haven't seen the latest polls, the American people hold the President of the United States in contempt They hold this institution in contempt. They hold the Republican Party in contempt. They hold the Democratic Party in contempt. They think that maybe, given all of the crises facing this country, it's about time that there was some bold leadership here and that this institution made some hard choices. Who are you worried about? I'll tell you who I'm worried about. I'm worried about the fact that our workers are seeing a decline in their standard of living. They want to see our industry be rebuilt. That's what they want to see. No more B-2 bombers. No more Star Wars. Let's make the quality products we need. Let's invest in American industry. No, I won't yield.
I mean, the fossil fuel industry, they weigh in so significantly. I mean, how could it be?
Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ. But the real problem is that our leaders are dumb. Dumb. So dumb.
You haven't. You're a lying dog-faced pony soldier.
Hello, users, and welcome to another episodic installational exceptional program, the Above It All Show. Welcome, folks. This is the Above It All Show. Today, on this day, today is Thursday. Today is Thursday. And we have a show. So everybody, I would like to announce something. I'd like to make an announcement. Yesterday I had an accident. And I just want to let everyone know I'm okay, but I'm still recovering. Yesterday, as you can see, my fingernails are of a certain length. This one did not make it. My fingernail broke off. In fact, I actually have the fingernail. I found it and I have it. It's right here. So this is the fingernail that broke off. And so, unfortunately, it's not stuck to my hand. Look at that shit. Holy fuck. Whoa. Oh. Holy shit. So this is my fingernail. As you can tell, you know, it used to belong on this finger. It no longer does. So if anyone wants this fingernail, the bidding starts at $5. Send me your address. If you are in the US, I will send you this fingernail. Bidding starts at $5. So there you go. I want to be honest, folks. Before today's show, I got a little high. Little, you know, on drugs. And so I would like to announce that we're fucked in the U.S. We're fucked? How come no one told me? I gotta do my glasses. They got like some snot on my glasses. I don't know who they is. But there's some snot. Drinking my coffee today. Balancing on one leg for 10 seconds may predict likelihood of living or dying. 10 seconds, folks. Living or dying. So, let's find out. Let's read some more. You're twice as likely to die in the next decade if you're currently unable to balance on one foot for 10 seconds, according to a new study. Conversely, the study suggests that your ability to balance on one foot points to longer life expectancy. The peer-reviewed study conducted by Brazilian researchers published Tuesday in the British Journal of Sports Medicine determined that a person's balance ability can be preserved into the 6th decade of one's life, meaning that it's more broad of an indicator of life expectancy across age ranges than aerobic fitness, flexibility, or muscle strength. Dr. Calil Soares de Araujo, the lead author of the study, and a sports and exercise physician at the Exercise Medicine in Rio de Janeiro, said poor balance is linked to frailty in older adults, and one's fitness is a prime indicator of declining health. Do we have anyone who's old here? Mila, you're old. Can you balance on one foot? Mila? A resident person with white hair? Who here can balance on one foot? I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to give it a shoot. All right, check this out. Okay. Whoa. I'm doing it. Look at this. I don't even know how long I'm going. I'm alive, folks. I'm alive. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. So, I'm alive. I don't know about the rest of you motherfuckers. I'm good to go. Look at that. I'm worked out. Whew. Everyone, come on. Come with me here. Let's do it. Let's turn above it all into one of those like yoga tapes that people watch. You pop it into the tape player. Come on, everyone. Let's go. Get up and start skipping. If you are younger than 70 years, you are expected, as the majority of those at this age, to successfully complete the 10 seconds. Well, doesn't make it any less impressive. Araujo told the USA Today in an emailed statement for those older than 70 years of age, if you complete it, you're in a better static balance status than your age peers. The advantages of the TENS-ALS test include the fact that it is simple and provides rapid, safe, and objective feedback for the patient and healthcare providers regarding static balance. Mila, our resident white-haired chatter, has said, hooray! I just balanced on 1 foot for 31 seconds. Hallelujah, I'm alive. That's great. Mila is not leaving anytime soon. Mila is not leaving anytime soon, folks. Researchers in the study researchers in the study zeroed in on 1,702 participants from ages 51 to 75 for the study with the average age of set at 61. Their first checkup. Study participants were tracked starting in 2008, collected data on their weight, waist size, blah, blah, blah. Only individuals who could walk steadily were included in their analysis. Then the participants were asked to stand on one leg for 10 seconds without holding on to anything for support. 1 in 5 failed the test. Each participant got 3 tries to put the back of their other foot on the weight-bearing leg, which could be barefoot or with proper tennis shoe on. A proper tennis shoe? Whoa. I mean, what the fuck is a proper tennis shoe? Does anyone know? Proper tennis shoes now? So, like, if I just have, like, a knockoff, like, got it at a flea market tennis shoe, I'm banned from the study now? That's fucked up. That's fucked up. But yeah, just, a little fun fact, it doesn't tell you everything in the world, obviously. But they say that, being able to balance yourself, it's important. You gotta have equilibrium, I don't know. Anyway, Above It All workout tapes coming very soon to you. We'll do that. We'll start doing a workout in the morning. One of these days, I'll have a whole set. I'll get the mat down. The first 20 minutes of Above It All is going to be some complex yoga. Anyway, there you go. As you may or may not know, I am high, folks. I have ingested cannabinoids, specifically tetrahydrocannabinol, and some others, and they are currently being released into my bloodstream as of this moment. So, bear with me. Yesterday was Cooking with the Bitch. Let me see, how many views did Cooking with the Bitch get? Let me do a comparison. Folks, I have unfortunate news. It appears yesterday's Cooking with the Bitch is the lowest viewed Cooking with the Bitch show video out of all of the videos. So if you want to change that, you can go watch the video, check it out, Cooking with the Goddamn Bitch. I made a somen noodle soup. Check it out. Oh my god. Yesterday I played Doom, and I will continue at 1 p.m. today to play Doom. Wednesday and Thursday are the Doom days. So check that out. There you go. Oh. Do you know someone that has been infected with COVID-19? Do you know a child who has been infected with COVID-19 because Joe Biden and Donald Trump forced them to go to school during a pandemic? Well, you'll be happy to know that they, statistically speaking, are probably fucked for the rest of their life. So here we have a new study on CNN Health. Long COVID can affect children of all ages, including infants, study shows. Even the littlest children can experience long COVID. Isn't that great?
Ladies and gentlemen, leaders and fighters for freedom and liberty and the American dream. The best is yet to come.
According to a large study, one of the first of its kind to include infants and toddlers. The study, published Wednesday in the journal The Lancet Child, included 44,000 children in Denmark, ranging in ages from 0 through 14. Of the children, 11,000 had tested positive for COVID between January 2020 and July 2021. While symptoms associated with long COVID are general ailments, children can experience even without COVID headaches, mood swings, stomach problems, and tiredness. The children in the study, who had previously tested positive for COVID were more likely to experience at least one symptom for 2 months or more than the children who never tested positive for COVID. The study also revealed that a third of children who had tested positive for COVID experienced at least one long-term symptom that was not present before testing positive. The most common symptoms varied by age. For children up through 3, it was mood swings, rashes, and stomach aches. For children 4 to 11, also experienced memory and concentration problems. 12 to 14-year-olds, it was memory and concentration issues, mood swings, and fatigue. I want to be very fucking... we are literally in this country sacrificing an entire generation's ability to remember things. I am so happy I was born when I was, and I am able to work from home. For me, my memory, I value my memory, motherfucker. I don't know what to tell you. I want to remember things. I like the ability to remember things. I think it's useful. I think it has benefits. It has a lot of pros, a little cons. Trauma, for example. Don't want to remember that. But we're fucking with our kids' memories. And then we're going to send them to school. And if they don't perform well, we're going to say that they've got some mental illness, some disability, and we're going to throw them in some special needs class that's not tailored to them whatsoever anyway, and probably pump them full of pharmaceutical drugs that probably aren't going to help them because they probably don't even have what they're being diagnosed with. All for what? So that mommy and daddy can go to work like good little zombies for American capitalism? Children 3 and under seem to have the most problems compared with the children not diagnosed with COVID. 40% experienced symptoms 2 months after testing positive compared with 27% in the group that did not have COVID. Our findings align with previous studies on long COVID in adolescents showing that although the chances of children experiencing long COVID is low, especially compared to the control group, it must be recognized and treated seriously. Define what low means. And we're talking about a 13% delta. I don't know, man. That's not low to me. That's a lot of kids. If we're talking about one of the largest generations that we've seen, population growth, there's more and more kids, right? That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people that are potentially going to be affected by this. And again, we also don't know at all. We've only been studying COVID since the pandemic started. We don't know. What if there's long COVID and then 6 years later, there's some studies that say COVID can live in your organs for years after you stop showing symptoms of it. So what if it's 6 years later, COVID was hanging out in your liver and boom, you're dead? I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm throwing this out there. This country has failed. This country is a failure. It is a flop. It's bad news. This country is bad news. Now, again, this is an international study. Internationally, we have failed as well. As a species, as human beings, we have failed to protect each other and ourselves. But America being as exceptional as it is one of the worst examples of this. America didn't even try. We didn't try at all. And now we have people that claim to be anti-establishment promoting corporate talking points like, oh, COVID's no big deal, go back to work. Don't even get me started on those fucking morons. 2021 study suggested more than half of children between age 6 and 16 had at least one symptom that lasted for more than 4 months. In adults, some research puts the number around 30% of cases. There is no specific test for long COVID. It's not clear which children will have it, as it can happen even when a child has a mild case of COVID-19. In addition to showing scientists the characteristics of long COVID in children, the study also showed that even children who do not get COVID felt the impact of the pandemic. The group reported a few more psychological and social problems than children who had COVID, of course. We could have had a global 3 to 6 month lockdown. And would that have been rough? Sure. But it's a hell of a lot better than several years of a worldwide economic depression. The pandemic doesn't magically disappear if we just pretend it does. Millions and millions of people being infected with a virus that will probably last for the rest of their lives. So who even knows? Like, again, long COVID, we're still searching into this. Who even knows if it's like, oh, I feel fine for 2 years and then another symptom comes up. I feel fine for 3 years and then all of a sudden. We don't know this. We only know what we've been able to study for 2 years. And we're finding out more and more things as time gets by. You can read the rest of this if you want. The most striking finding of the study is the higher quality of life and lower anxiety scores in older children who had tested positive for COVID-19. This provides further confirmation that although mercifully children are resilient to the direct impacts of COVID, they've been significantly impacted by the indirect impacts of the pandemic. Again, whoever wrote that is fucking stupid as far as I'm concerned. Like, no shit, if you go out every day and pretend there's no pandemic, you're not going to have social isolation issues, but you're going to be sick, right? Like, that's the thing. We should have built our society so that no one had to make that choice. And again, kids aren't even making that choice. The parents are making that choice for them. But again, the choice of, I don't know, being socially isolated versus getting your fucking body wrecked by a virus. I personally would prefer social isolation. I am also an adult that is capable of making that choice. And the idea that it's like, oh, okay, well, they have less anxiety. I don't know, maybe when they're 30 years old and they've got 3 diseases that developed from this virus, maybe they'll have a little bit more anxiety. Anyway, more studies come out every couple weeks that show us that every decision this government has made and is making and will continue to make are the wrong decisions. We can't go back in time and do this magical fantasy world where we all lock down for 3 to 6 months and actually take this shit seriously. But we could right now. We could at least try. We could give all Americans free masks and mandate mask wearing. Once again, the CDC is covering up actual transmission data. So, they've chosen their path, and the sunken cost fallacy tells us that there's no expectation or reason to expect that the Biden administration will do the only thing he campaigned on, and that was getting COVID under control in this country. That was the one thing he promised us when he ran for president, and he lied. He lied. Just like Donald Trump lied. They both lied us into a plague that is going to affect all of our children. Great job. Anyway, how's everyone doing? COVID is still killing about 400 people a day. Last time I checked, anyway. Anyway, folks, I'm really high, so just bear with me here. I decided to get high this morning because I'm excited to play Doom on my stream later. And so I decided to get high early so that it kicks in. That's my perspective. That's what my thought process is. But, you know, boom, boom. I'm living my life. See if I can make it through this. How are we doing, you ask, now that you have launched your entire audience into the depths of profound depression? Well, as we know, above it all is an emotional experience, right? So we have to go through all of the waves of human emotion. So we're in the depths. We are facing despair. And now, I'm going to share a story. As a leftist, I often advocate for paid family leave, maternal, paternal leave, whatever, so that people can hang out with their family without worrying about how they're going to pay for their bills. Couple weeks, take a vacation. It's on us. That's what I advocate for. I advocate, if you can, in your career, to take as much time off as you can. Fuck them. That corporation doesn't give a shit about you. Take what you can. But it appears that some people have been listening to my advice that I otherwise wouldn't want them to listen to my advice. The Uvalde School District Police Chief, Pete Arredondo, placed on administrative leave. Paid vacation. This motherfucker. All right, so it recently came out that Arredondo lied about the door being locked and that the door was unlocked the whole time. That came out. I'm not sure if I covered that exact detail. I think I talked about it in one of the previous segments that I did on this. So it turns out he lied about the whole thing the whole time. Whoops. And so we all know that when you lie as a cop and when you get exposed to lie, the next step is the state pays for your vacation. Oh, you violated your oath of office or whatever it is that they do, their police oath, stupid shit. You lied publicly and embarrassed the whole department. Take a couple weeks off. On us. Pete Arredondo, the Uvalde School District Police Chief, was placed on administrative leave Wednesday. The school superintendent said the action is effective immediately. Dr. Hal Harrell said in a statement that although the district wanted to wait for the investigation of law enforcement response to the deadly mass shooting to be completed before making any decisions, he went ahead and placed Arredondo on leave because of the lack of clarity that remains and the unknown timing of when the investigation will conclude. Lieutenant Mike Hernandez will fill the role, blah, blah, blah. Arredondo has been met with intense criticism since the May 24 shooting that killed 19 students and 2 teachers. Once again, one of the spouses of one of the teachers died of a heart attack upon realizing that their spouse was murdered in a school shooting. They died of a heart attack. I think it's important to note that when you kill a bunch of people at a school, the bullets aren't the only thing that ends people's lives. So I think it's important to note that. That is honestly and sadly, in my opinion, been lost in these stories. He was in charge of the law enforcement response that day, and investigations have revealed several failures, including the police had an opportunity to shoot the gunman within 3 minutes of his arrival at the school and instead left him in the school for over an hour. Police also never checked to see if the door in the classroom where the gunman was holed up was locked. They never checked, but they lied about it. Now, once again, I want to remind you, while the gunshots were ringing out, these police were beating the shit out of the school children's parents who wanted to go in there and stop the shooter. They pepper sprayed parents, smacked them into the ground, handcuffed them, threw them in the back of a police car for 8 hours. They had time to do that. Now, I have a question. Let's say I'm working at Wendy's. I love Wendy's. Huge Wendy fan. Let's say I'm working at Wendy's. And let's say I leave the refrigerator door open overnight and all the food goes bad. But like, I don't know, it's windy at Wendy's. And then like the wind closes the door before anyone comes in. But it was open for 7 hours and all the food spoiled. And then I go in the next day and I tell everyone, hey, I don't know, I closed the door. Even though I know I didn't. And the food smells like shit. Hey, I closed the door, I don't know what you're talking about. But then, well, we closed the door. So we start giving this food out. You know, we feed it to people who pay money at Wendy's. And then a bunch of people die. Now, I have a question. Would I get paid vacation after that? Would Wendy's then look at me and go like, you know what? You fucked up. So what we're going to do, give you a couple weeks off. Paid vacation. Why is it that cops, whenever they fuck up and get people killed, it's a paid vacation? Anywhere else, if you fuck up and people die, you get fired or thrown in jail. I say this when it comes to police murders as well. 98.3% of cops don't get charged. So let's say I'm at Bojangles, and you know what? You know, a customer's being a little uppity. So I decide to get out my AK-47 and shoot them 38 times. Would I get paid vacation? And then not get charged with a crime and then just go back to work? Probably get a raise? Or would I be charged with a crime and thrown in jail and fired? So again, just asking some questions. Not only has Arredondo faced questioning, but the subsequent investigation into the shooting responses also raised red flags, with many feeling confused about what happened on that day. I don't know why mainstream media is just afraid to say that he lied. There's no confusion. There's no misunderstanding. There's not a misinterpretation. The motherfucker lied. He lied. Bald motherfucking faced. It was a lie. It wasn't a misremembering of the very foggy detail. It was a lie, motherfucker. Texas State Senator Roland Gitchie filed a lawsuit on Wednesday against the Texas Department of Public Safety, accusing state troopers of not sharing information with the public, but instead pointing fingers at Uvalde school police. They want us to give snippets of body cam footage from the local police, but they want to hold on to their own body camera footage. Gutierrez said of state Texas troopers, we found out yesterday there were 91 officers on the site from the Department of Public Safety. Multiple agencies just said, it's like a game of hot potato, right? Just keep throwing it back and forth, back and forth. Hey, I'm not responsible. I'm not responsible. Whoa, not me. Everyone's gunning for that paid vacation. Uvalde Mayor Don McLaughlin is placing blame at the feet of state authorities, who he says have been responsible for keeping citizens in the dark. McLaughlin told CBS News correspondent Omar Villafranca that he was last briefed by DPS on the morning of May 25, one day after the shooting. Blah, blah, blah. The search for answers has left community members feeling lost amid the struggle to find answers. Again, the cops lied. The Department of Public Safety for Texas lied. The mayor lied. Everyone lied every step of the way. This isn't mixed messaging. This isn't being lost. This isn't struggling to find answers. This is being lied to. But mainstream media is afraid to say the truth in a lot of these circumstances. But again, we're being lied to. The whole country, especially those that live in Uvalde, are being lied to. It's not like this isn't rocket science. It wasn't a mistake that they lied. Arredondo didn't accidentally say that he got a key ring and tried every key over the course of an hour. He made it up. He made it up. And we need to be honest about that. They made it up. And what is the punishment for making that up? And letting 19 kids die and 3 adults? Paid vacation. He's going to sit up, stay up late, watch some fucking brand new shows. I mean, he got paid vacation right in time for season 4 of Westworld. So, I mean, hey, that's good timing on this guy. What a joke. This fucking country is a joke. This is a laughingstock. Paid vacation for letting people die? He could have stopped them in 3 minutes. He could have stopped them. They were in the hallway for 58 minutes before the gunman was killed. 58 minutes. During that time, Arredondo lied about, the key didn't work. The key, It was open the whole time. He just made it up. They just made it up. That's... Like, I really need you to understand, this is fan fiction. They made it up. This isn't real. There was no key ring. There was no trying every key and crying every step of the way, damning God. They just made it up. And there is no punishment. There is no accountability. They get paid motherfucking vacation. In this country, this is how this country functions. If I'm a doctor and someone calls me or has an appointment and says they have a medical issue, and I know what the issue is and I know how to solve the issue, and I just lie and say, I don't know, eat a carrot and you'll be fine, when I know that that's not going to be the case, and then they die, would I get paid vacation or would I get fucking shit canned? Only in this country and only with police can you lie and get people killed and then get paid vacation and time off to stay at your home and fucking masturbate all day, watch Netflix, watch whatever the fuck, and play video games. Only in this country and only with police. That's it. Stupid fucking country. This is a stupid fucking country. Max the dog. He's being a dog right now. Dogging it up. All right. It's not that hot today. I don't think the AC is necessary. So while we're talking about police, all right, cops help masked Proud Boys terrorize kids at North Carolina Pride event. Multiple library patrons report on Facebook that they felt threatened and terrorized by masked Proud Boys and by the deputies. I believe there is a phrase, cops and Klan go hand in hand. What comes to mind here. This is from Wilmington. According to patrons at a drag queen story event in the Pine Valley branch of the New Hanover, North Carolina library system, a group of 15 masked men terrorized them yesterday with the active assistance of sheriff's deputies, forcing families with children as young as 17 months old to flee through a side door and preventing the library from being used for its ordinary purposes for as long as 90 minutes. 90 minutes. They just literally occupied a library. A paramilitary group aided by a state-sanctioned paramilitary group, a wing of the KKK, just literally occupied a library for 90 minutes and threatened children and random people that had nothing to do with anything. They were just trying to get some books, or they were just going to work that day. According to local news reports, deputies responded to a demonstration at the Pine Valley Library where a group of 4 parents brought a reported 6 children under 7 years old to listen to a drag queen read stories about diverse families. Then, according to parents and witnesses, all hell broke loose. They say the families and other library patrons were terrorized by a group of Cape Fear Proud Boys, who deputies escorted from the parking lot into the library and up to the door of the reading room. Multiple witnesses report that the demonstrators shouted obscenities through the door and screamed, "Bring out the drag queens, bring out the drag queens." Library patrons on Facebook report the deputies fist bumped the protesters. I don't know if protesters is the word I would use, and engaged in casual banter with them while they created a disturbance and ended the reading and forced librarians to hustle the patrons and children out through a side door for their safety. I have a question. Just hear me out. This is a hypothetical. If I went to a library and started screaming, "I'm gonna kill conservatives," for 90 minutes, would cops come there and fist bump me and have a casual conversation, or would I be arrested? Just a quick question. If I were to go anywhere and scream, "I'm gonna kill conservatives," for 90 minutes straight, what do you think would happen? What do you think would happen? Would the cops come out there and, "Oh, hey bro," right? Or would they probably shoot and kill me and then drag my corpse into the river and throw it off a bridge? Sheriff's office denies allegations of unprofessional conduct. Oh, really? Huh. Well, the sheriff said so. I'm not going to read that. Multiple witnesses agree the statement is false, claiming deputies let the protesters scream through the door and did not try to stop them from disturbing the peaceful use of the library or from terrorizing the families and the performer inside of the reading room. Angie Smith Connie posted that she saw the New Hanover County Sheriff's Office escort the Proud Boys and their clan into the building straight to the room where the children as young as 1 were with parents. While they shouted obscenities and threats, she, as the prosecutors, taunted parents and children inside and outside the library after the event was over, while still being escorted by deputies who did not act to protect the public. The children are not driving themselves to the library. Parents have the right to choose what they teach their children. Now, again, I want to be very clear. In Florida, conservatives are like, oh, parental rights in education. Parents should be able to decide what their kids are able to be educated on. Parents decide. So when there's a gay person in class, they're not allowed to say that they're gay because the parents should decide when their kids are exposed to the subjects like gayness. It's the parents. If a teacher is gay, they got to be fired, right? Of course, because it's up to the parents. They get to decide when their kid learns about gay people until those parents decide, oh, I'm going to read a book about gay people or drag queens or trans people, whatever it is that they want. I'm going to read a book about this to my child. I make my own decision. I want to educate my child in this fashion. Now, all of a sudden, the state has to come in and tell them what they're not allowed to teach their children. Isn't that crazy? Think about this shit. Isn't this fucking insane? But again, hypocrisy is the identity of conservatism. Conservatism doesn't actually exist. What are they trying to conserve? It's a mythology. It's a religion. They want to create a society that has never existed, where gay people don't exist. Gay people have always existed. Transgender people have existed for thousands of years. Drag queens have existed for thousands of years. This isn't new. But conservatives love to rewrite history, and they want to return to an imagined past, a mythology that they've created in their minds, and they will literally change their talking points on a whim. 1 minute it's parental rights and education. 2 months later, it's parents have no rights. The state gets to decide what your kid learns and what your kid's not allowed to learn. Because it doesn't matter. Hypocrisy, logic, it's irrelevant to the conservative mind. The only thing conservatives care about is oppressing other people. That's it. The reasons that they use don't matter. It's not, the point is that they don't matter. The only thing that matters to the conservative mind is oppressing people that are different than them. That's it. The logic that they use changes every couple months. It can be the opposite of what it was a month ago. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. No one cares. Sandra Dawn posted that she watched these protesters scream at young children and their families as they exited the building. The sheriffs allowed those people to stand within feet of young children and scream at them. She asked, why on earth did the sheriffs allow these protesters to stand within feet of the doorways and go inside the building and stand outside of the room where the event was held? Why did the sheriffs not require these people to keep their distance? Witness Amy Holland said of the sheriff's office statement, this is a lie. At no time did deputies place themselves between rooms and protesters. The protesters showed up outside the library and HCSO, then escorted the Proud Boys and that's the sheriff's department, and other protesters. Again, I wouldn't use the word protesters here. I would use the word neo-Nazis or Klansmen. Back to the room where the event was taking place, where they shouted, bring out the drag queens so loudly and persistently that it shut down the event and terrified the children. Again, for 90 minutes. They just didn't let anyone use the library for 90 minutes. One mother tells reporters she felt blindsided. Emily Jones tells Star News that she took her 17-month-old daughter to the Pride event because she thought a library would be safe and peaceful. I felt like the story time was really one of the safest places I could take my daughter for a Pride event. I just felt like it's a library. It's probably pretty low risk. She says she felt nervous when she saw demonstrators gathered in the parking lot outside saying signs saying LGBT is grooming our kids and the library is responsible for child abuse. She added that she wished parents would have been notified prior to the event that safety was a concern. She did not say what she thought about deputies escorting protesters, blah, blah, blah. Again, I don't know why LosAngelesBlade.com, I don't know this outlet too well. I don't know why they're obsessed with the word protesters here. Community members expressed support for Proud Boys. While community reaction to the sheriff's Facebook statement is largely skeptical, some local residents are expressing solidarity with the Proud Boys. Kevin Rigsby, which, by the way, they're attaching their real names to this. This guy named Kevin is like, I hate the gay people and I'm proud. I'm going to let everyone know. Put it up on billboards. Kevin Rigsby hates the gays. And you know why they do this? Because they're proud. They're proud of the fact that their ideology is founded upon oppressing people that are different than them, and they are proud of the fact that there are people that live around them that are willing to harass the shit out of people for literally just existing. Biggest question, why was there a proud story time for young children? These are kids, they don't need the logic shoved down their throats too. Wait, they don't need this logic shoved down their throats too? Is he just like openly saying, yeah, logic? We don't need to teach kids logic. Pamela Eaton writes, sad children's minds are innocent. They don't need to hear this garbage. Bruce True writes, public library means open to the public. No private rooms, space exclamation point. No doubt they were indoctrinating little kids. First of all, every library I've ever been to, and I've been to a lot, has had private rooms. I would wager a guess. I would argue, I'd be willing to put money on this, that 100% of libraries in this country have private rooms. I'm willing to bet that. A lot of people do meetings at the libraries. Whenever I've worked at political campaigns, we've met at libraries and had access to a private room. You just, basically you reserve it. It's public, it's free. You just reserve it. Private rooms exist in libraries all across the country. So, this guy's a fucking moron. Those statements and others like them are getting pushback. Well represented by Alyssa Rangel, who writes, the children aren't driving themselves to the library. I already read that earlier. But, I mean, again, 1 minute it's parental rights and education. The next minute, parents have no rights. Let's take the kids. So, you can read the rest of that if you'd like, but this country is falling apart at the seams. You have paramilitary groups working with state-sanctioned paramilitary groups to terrorize people and commit pogroms, and it's all legal. Cool. What a cool fucking country. I'm glad I live here. But it gets dumber, folks. This country gets dumber and dumber every day. The Supreme Court of the United States strikes another blow to the separation of church and state. In a new ruling, the theocrats on the court turned one of the nation's fundamental principles on its head. This is from Elie Mystal, who I recommend following. I plan on reading his latest book at some point. I do not know what most people think separation of church and state means, but I can tell you that the 6 conservative justices on the Supreme Court think it means nothing. There is no meaningful check anymore on whether conservatives will allow religious concerns to supersede secular laws. Can businesses run by religious people deny health care to a woman? Yes, according to Burwell v. Hobby Lobby Stores. Can religious schools use public funds to upgrade their school playgrounds? Yes, according to Trinity Lutheran versus Comer. Can the state be forced to give scholarship aid to students attending religious education? Yes, according to Espinoza v. Montana Department of Revenue. Can religious organizations or institutions get state funds to discriminate against LGBTQ people in adoption services? Of course! Can houses of worship ignore occupancy restrictions during a pandemic? Of course! Now the Supreme Court has ruled that taxpayer funds must be used to pay tuition at religious schools if the state also makes taxpayer dollars available for private, non-sectarian schools. The case, which was decided Tuesday, is called Carson v. Macon. It deals with a law in Maine that provides tuition assistance vouchers, basically, for students who live in districts where no public secondary school is available. Which, by the way, what? There are districts where there's just, sorry, we forgot to build a high school. Our bad. The public taxpayer money is available to families so they can send their kids to private schools in the area, but not sectarian schools. Some families in Maine wanted to use this public money to send their kids to a religious school, specifically Bangor Christian Schools and Temple Academy. Both schools candidly admit that they discriminate against homosexuals, individuals who are transgender, and non-Christians. They're just proud of it. The state and lower federal courts said no. The families could not get money to send their kids to these schools. That's because using public money to pay for tuition at a religious school is, or should be, a point-and-click violation of the First Amendment's prohibition on the establishment of religion. In a secular country, the state should play no role in funding religious education. For that matter, all religious institutions that are tax-exempt are also a violation of the First Amendment, has always been. One of the biggest scams in American history is a tax-exempt church. You're telling me that I can spend my whole life creating a business around helping poor and homeless people gain housing and I have to pay taxes, but a church can just babble about a stupid fucking fan fiction, a book that they just made up, and they don't have to pay taxes? What? That's not a society. That's a theocracy, which of course are not compatible. But the Supreme Court, by a vote of 6-3, reversed the lower courts and ordered the state to pay tuition to these religious institutions. Writing for the majority, Chief Justice John Roberts ruled that Maine's prohibition on funding religious education actually discriminated against those religious institutions. And thus violated the free exercise clause of the First Amendment. Roberts argues that since Maine makes tuition assistance available for non-sectarian private schools, which it does, it must make the same money available for religious instruction. There is, of course, an argument to be made that Maine shouldn't make public money available for private schools at all. I would rather have, public schools. Hey, just an option. Throwing that out there. There's an argument to be made that Maine should get its act together and provide free middle schools and high schools to students in all of its districts. But the argument that money is made available to help families pay for private schools must be made available to help them pay for parochial schools has as much merit as saying that every library that carried a copy on the origin of species must also carry a picture book of Jesus riding a velociraptor, or else we're discriminating against Chris Pratt. Does he actually think that? I've read a couple things about Chris Pratt that make me don't like him, but I gotta look into that one. I know he said a bunch of stupid shit on religion and homosexuals, but but yes, that's a joke. But again, there's multiple layers of idiocy here, right? So Maine, there's just areas where there's no high school. Like, what? I'm just trying to figure this out. Okay. There's no high school or middle school in parts of Maine. Isn't that a problem? To me, that's like, oh, the house burned down. Where are we going to live? That's a huge fucking problem. That's a huge fucking problem. You can read the rest of this later if you'd like. There's a bunch of new stuff coming out about the Supreme Court about there's a gun law ruling. I haven't read it yet. But the Supreme Court, again, I covered this, I think last week, that the Supreme Court basically said, Miranda rights, fuck it. You don't need to know about your right to remain silent. Fuck that shit. Cops don't need to tell you anything. The Supreme Court also recently ruled that Border Patrol agents with any state, anywhere within 100 miles of the ocean or Mexico or Canada, a Border Patrol agent can just fuck your shit up, and it's legal. Whoops, isn't that crazy? Our country is off the rails. Do you remember when fucking Democrats were running for the president in 2019 and 2020, and these motherfuckers were like, oh yeah, we should pack the court. Then Amy Coney Barrett gets nominated and confirmed, so the court's even more unbalanced, and Democrats just stop talking about it. Oh shit, pack the court? Pfft. Amy Coney Barrett's a woman. It's all good. What? Democrats don't give a shit. They don't care. They don't give a fuck. At all. They'll pretend to give a fuck every once in a while, but they don't give a fuck. And Republicans, they do give a fuck about destroying this country. That's what they give a fuck about. Like, the idea of religious schools in general, in my opinion, that is grooming. You're telling me you're going to send a child to a school that teaches them about fairies, invisible men, and angels. What? That's grooming. That's grooming children into being dumb. That's grooming children into having a ceiling of an IQ of 40. You're telling me you want to instill and indoctrinate your child into thinking that there's some wizard in the sky who watches them masturbate, and if they jerk off too much, they'll go to hell? What? That's fucked up. That's insane. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy shit. So the existence of religious schools in general, Jesus fucking Christ. The fact that there's no high school and middle school in certain districts in Maine, Jesus fucking Christ. And the, again, tax exempt status for churches, Jesus fucking Christ. This country's off the rails. But, or maybe it's not. Maybe it is on the rails, and this is exactly what this country has been building toward the whole time.
I liked beer. I still like beer. But I did not drink beer to the point of blacking out.
You may be able to hear Max the dog snoring. He's woofing it up. Max the dog has achieved dog status and is therefore snoring on the ground like a dog. That's all the shit I got for today as far as news goes. I'm going to be doing another Doom stream in about 2 hours. And it's going to be really fun. If you didn't watch the Doom stream yesterday, it was really fun. And today is going to be even fun because I got shit fucked on my high level. So I'm very high, and we're playing some Strain, finishing it off, and it's gonna be great. So check that out at 1 o'clock. Does Max make noises when he dreams? Sometimes he goes like, and like he freaks the fuck out. Gets nightmares. Big deal. I achieved dog status back in high school. What the fuck? Proof? The letter hack. Draw yourself as a dog. Draw yourself as a dog watching above it all. And then in the monitor, there's above it all. And there's me. Going like, you know, with my confuzzled face. Prove you're a dog. Anyway, once again, bidding for my my fingernail. Rip, people, rip. My fingernail bidding starts at $5. As you can see, formerly. There you go. Broke off yesterday. So that's a shame. So now I'm left with like, do I cut the rest of my nails or do I just let them all break off? I usually just like, if I have one fingernail break, you know, that's whatever. If I get like 2 or 3 that break, I'll probably cut them all to size. So we'll see. 1 o'clock, folks. Check it out. Playing some Strain. We're about to enter the QCOC portion of the program. QCOC. 100% sobriety for 2 months. Lame. I'm high right now, man. Yeah, but are you drinking coffee, letter hack? That shit. If you're drinking coffee, you ain't sober. Just saying. EPA announced that drinking water is worse than we thought. It's not worse than I thought. I'll tell you that much right now. It's not worse than I thought, because I already know it's really bad. Always have the middle finger on your dominant hand with a cut nail just in case of emergency. I agree. 4 cups a day since childhood. You are a fucking... You are not sober. The letter hack's like... I'm sober, guys. That's letter hack right now. This motherfucker is tripping. Oh. Oh. Yep. Oh, tolerance, huh? Tolerance. Tell me more about this tolerance to something that's totally not a drug. Holy shit. Letter hack. More like? Litter hack? Because all your posts are trash. Oh! Potato and chickpea curry? I'm in. I am in. Mic drop? Nope. Anyway, folks, now that the litter hack has been fundamentally destroyed at the molecular level, I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. I will see you at 1 p.m. if you want to watch me play Doom and rant and rave like a lunatic while being really high on drugs. That should be fun. And goodbye. That's it. That's the show. Thanks.
$7 million for reef fish management, $25 million to combat Asian carp, $2.5 million to count the number of amberjack fish.
Early in the morning, they went to the table with the black robe, the black shield, and they pulled out the vote.
And he's like this, and we were, I need water, help me, I need water, help. And he's, this is on live television.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by so you know the thing.
Isn't it wonderful to allow protesting? No.
And I have a simple proposition here. I'm here to ask you for your help. Where I come from, you don't get far unless you ask. My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate. Look me over. If you like what you see, help out. If not, vote for the other